Hey, welcome back to this week's version of B3, Boone's Bourbon Bistro. I want to thank our loyal followers for keeping up with us. As you know, lately we have not been able to post a lot of videos on bourbon. The bistro side of Boone's Bourbon Bistro is really taking off. We're doing a lot of cooking, a lot of catering events, trying to open up a restaurant. So we've been really busy on our end of things. We got big things going on. But anyways, the bourbon side of things, which is our passion, that's our livelihood, we love our bourbons. We went to, actually I'm going to change that back a little bit. I want to say this week's episode is concentrated on a transitional bourbon. And what I mean by that is how the seasons transition from a summer to a fall. Our fall bourbons are a little bit spicier, they got a little heat to them, they keep you warm. The summer bourbons are, in my opinion, a little bit more refreshing, maybe a little less alcohol content, maybe more towards the wheats or something. But this week is a transitional one. Backstory on it, we were at a birthday party of one of our friend's kids. Once all the little kids were doing their things, the big kids got to play. And everybody in the neighborhood knows, hey, we got the bourbon. So they said, hey, what are we drinking? So came back to the house, trying to figure out what I'm having to drink, and I really don't know. I'm very skeptical of sharing a bourbon that I have not opened or have not tried, that I know nothing about, but I grabbed one off the back. So we go over to the house, we open it up, and when I offer a bottle to a group of people, I pour mine and the rest is open. I'm not monitoring shots, it is open to the world. So we pour this drink, I take my sip of it. This isn't it, unfortunately. I take my sip of it and I was like, ooh, this is good. So I turn my chair and I get my back to the wall and I start watching all the other guys in the neighborhood, women in the neighborhood, taking little sips of it, and everybody's looking at me like, oh, that's good. Everybody's wondering what it is. So by the end of the night, a couple hours, we polished off the whole bottle, and my wife comes to me and she's like, well, what was it? So I tell her what it was. And I'm not the brightest individual. I'm not the guy that can remember the price of every bottle we have. I'm not going to be able to remember if it's something that we can get locally. We're northern Georgia. The places we shop locally don't always have everything. They're not big sellers, so sometimes it's a gamble. It's a bingo game to get something that we really like. So I wasn't sure I was going to get it again. So I was kind of regretting sharing this with people, and I thought of that right when I had my first sip. I was like, oh hell, I may not have wanted to open this one. What was it? We'll get there in a second. But anyways, we're all sitting around the table. All the guys are looking at me, locking eyes, like, what in the hell are you serving us? This stuff's good. We were all extremely shocked. Finished that bottle off. Luckily, Father's Day come around. Wonderful wife found a bottle of it. Found out after the fact it wasn't overly expensive, which is why we're trying to present it to you folks here tonight. One of the best summer bourbons I have had in a long time, as well as many of my friends that are in the neighborhood, actually turned out to be Old Forester 1897. Now, after polishing off the first bottle, I was like, well, heck, I got to try a few other ones, because everybody on all the YouTube channels and all the social medias have been saying, oh, you got to try this one, you got to try this one. We weren't real happy with the 1920. We had a couple other ones. We drank them all. This one, by far, 10-1, has been everyone's favorite. If you have not tried Old Forester 1897, go out and find it before it's gone. It's either going to disappear off the shelves or the price is going to go up. This is one you're going to regret if you haven't tried it. So from B3, Boone's Bourbon Bistro, thank you for following us through all our food posts, all our cooking, smoking, everything we got going on. But for right now, this week's bourbon, Old Forester 1897, 1897, get you some.